Hello everyone, it's me again, Rafi, your Aerosoft community and content manager. And today I have a kind of, let's say, dev interview together with Jo Erlend Sund, the developer of the wonderful Oslo scenery. Yeah, show you the scenery maybe from a different view, let's say from the developer view. So stay tuned and let's jump into the interview. So as mentioned, I'm now in front of my computer together with Jo. To start the dev interview, I would like to say hello, Jo.
Hello.
You can introduce yourself a little bit shortly if you wish. Who you are and why do you do sceneries?
Yes. So like you said, my name is Jo. I'm an external developer for Aerosoft. So I've been doing sceneries for them for way too long now. It's been since I think 2010 was the first scenery I released with them. Was Trondheim.
Okay.
It was a little bit random that I started doing this kind of stuff. I was doing some flight training at Trondheim, doing my private pilot license, and I figured I wanted to have like a better representation of Trondheim in FSX than what was already available. So that's the main reason why I started doing this kind of stuff. It just snowballed from there, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you started with Trondheim. Of
Yeah.
course, we want to talk today about Oslo.
Yes.
But what are the facts on which you base your choice of the airport you should develop?
Oh yeah. Well, Oslo is simple though. It's the airport that's closest to me right now. I live just
Okay.
30 minutes from Oslo, from the airport. So it makes sense for me to do that one. And I've already done it like quite a few times for both for FSX and P3D, and then ports to X-plane. So it's an airport that I know fairly well by now. So that choice was simple. Then there's also like the previous project I did that was Brussels. Then it was more like a request from Aerosoft if I would be willing to do that airport. So it depends on like the project on why I do the airports that I do, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question I have wrote down here is maybe, let's say, obsolete, because I said, did you travel to the airport to get all the information? I mean, if it's your airport close to you, I mean, you know probably every corner, let's say,
Well,
out of your head, probably more or less, as a being there as a passenger, for example.
yeah, that's the thing though. You know, it's sort of like a passenger, but like the best thing that you can get is information from people that work at the airport that are actually on the air side of things. So I do know a lot of people that work there. Like I said, I've done the airport multiple times now, so I have contacts here and there at the airport that helps me out. But yeah, it's been like a mix of me going there and getting information from people that work there and so on. So yeah, it's
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So, can you confirm that you say Oslo has a kind of special place in your heart because it's your home airport?
Well, sort of. Well, I guess like my home airport would be Trondheim, since that's where I was
Yeah.
originally from. But it's my they're equal in my heart, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So let's say from your airport from your heart, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then you decide, okay, let's do Oslo. And what are the first parts of the
Yeah.
scenery you're starting with? Are there any approaches where you basically on any scenery probably, but maybe on Oslo kind of specific? Where do you start?
Yeah, it's usually the same for all projects. You want to get the basics done first. So usually you start by figuring out how to get like resources like ortho images like that you would use to base everything on. So it sort of depends on actually sort of the country the airport's in, if you need to either buy it, or some countries have them as open source. So that would be what you start with first, getting the basics in. Adding your custom ortho, and then you would start building stuff on top of that again. You would start adjusting the mesh as required, the elevation of everything. Add your own runways, taxiways, and so on, and then you start adding the buildings on top of that again. So you want to make sure you have the basics correct before you start doing the more complex stuff like the terminals and such. Because if you mess something up like previously in the step, like let's say you have the incorrect length or something somewhere, you would then have to go back and fix that, and then you would also need to fix like everything else that's gonna affect. So yeah, usually you just try and get the basics down first. So yeah.
Okay, so that reminds me a little bit. I don't know if you know it in Norway, but there are for kids are these carpets with the there are roads on it, etc., etc. And me as a kid playing with, I don't know, Playmobil or whatever it was, building stuff on it. Of course, a kid play, but to imagine it, it is more or less, let's say, from the procedure, more or less the same. So you have the ground layout, and then you start from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, you start with like the tiles, and then you just build on top of that again when you're done. So it's sort of Lego or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
You said me already in the exchange we had before that your most loved position at the airport is gate 16. Why?
Well, I usually like that area. I don't really know why. I think it's mostly because if you look underneath there, you have that small section underneath on the first floor where you have like the cars parked to right there. So you have a lot of stuff going on. It's just not like a flat wall there, so it looks more interesting than a lot of the other areas at the airport. So yeah, but like right now we're basically parked at the domestic side of the airport, so it's also usually the area I do most of my traveling from whenever I go flying. So it's an area that I know fairly well.
If I look around, I mean, that's if it's a you Erlend or the Jo Erlend scenery, it is obviously to expect these amount of details. Because I mean, look, there's for example here, this Coke ice cold drink dispenser.
That's been sustaining a lot of the people working there. So it's important.
If you decide, is there any kind of, let's say, details level you want to achieve with every scenery, where you say, okay, that's a must because that's for the feeling, for the atmosphere important? Or do you just start and then you say, okay, now it's enough?
Well, it's like you say, you want to try to capture like a feeling of being there. Now, for level of detail, I usually try and just push myself a little bit further for each project I do. But where that detail is sort of depends on the airport, right? Because like for Oslo, we have, since it's like pretty much glass everywhere, we need to have like a pretty good looking interior, I feel, since it's something that you're going to look at whenever you're parked at the airport. But then you could also have airports where you don't really see the interior, that it's either it's not as visible, and in those cases you probably don't need to focus that much on it, right?
Okay.
So it's like you said, it's more about capturing like the feeling of being there, and it depends on the airport of what you need to focus on. Are you parked correctly?
I mean, I don't know. I loaded just the position, so I have no idea. Yeah. But I mean, I mean, it's nice. Yeah. I mean, of course, many people in the community probably say, "Okay, I don't need it. I need. Yeah. I'm not interested in the stickers, for example, or there where the let's say power connections are to the building. Yeah, I don't need this in this detail. But if you are going around and, for example, with the drone like we are doing right now, and you see this detail, it makes me smiling. Yeah, so I think that's what you said. Yeah, with the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's like everything comes together into like creating an overall complete picture, I guess. And like stuff like this, if you do it in like a smart way, you're able to like clone a lot of it, right? For example, like the poster you were looking at with the stopping positions behind you. So for that one, it's basically decals. So all of this writing can be copied to the other ones and just adjusted by removing some of them here and there. Just so it's relatively simple to create it, and it's not going to have any performance impact because it's just one small part of a texture sheet that covers all of these, right? So it's just more about taking the time to do it, right? It's that's the main downside of it, that it takes time, right?
All right. Yeah. So the texture is loaded only one time, and then
so all of these
on different places, let's say.
So all of these posters would share the same texture, and also like for example the 16 number up there, that would be shared anywhere else there's numbers on stuff like that. That's one of the things you want to try and keep in mind, is that you want to try and share as much as possible of both the texture assets and other kind of stuff that's loaded into the sim, just to try and keep things running somewhat smoothly.
Okay, because that's probably also one of the main challenges. Is it still a challenge to get it in a let's say appropriate performance, or do we have with the new flight simulator, let's say, tools or possibilities to be there more, let's say, open, so you can add more things, etc., compared, for example, to Flight Simulator FSX or P3D?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you said, you can add a lot more stuff now, but you would still hit like a limit where things starts to degrade in performance, and it also depends on how you develop the assets you use. So you want to try and optimize them by both texture-wise and how many polygons and so on that's being used on them to get it running as smoothly as possible. But it's a lot easier in MSFS to get things running smoothly than what the case was in like FSX or P3D, with the it being like a more modern engine basically than what those were.
But for example, jetways, most of the people in the community probably, beside of the guys who are flying on the Xbox, are using for jetways animation GSX. So how do you get the jetway, let's say in 3 to 5 sentences, if it's possible, to get it animated first, and second, working with GSX?
So GSX, basically what it does, it just tells the game engine to, hey, connect the jetway. So GSX doesn't do any of the animation. It just sends a request for the jetway to be connected. So it's the same animation if you use GSX or if you use like the default ATC way of connecting the jetway. Now, the way the animation works is that in that jetway you have like a hidden rig, and that rig is going to drive the jetway animation and move the components towards the door. And where that door is defined in the aircraft. So we don't really do any of that stuff in the scenery. We just basically define on the jetway where we want it to connect to the door of the aircraft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's rigged, or I would say railed. So you can say, for example, the jetway who has 2 parts which are going into each other. And so you can say, on this straight line, it can be moved. And the rest is doing, let's say, then the simulator, because it knows there's a door. Those are the angles or the slides or the lines I can move. And then it tries to catch, let's say, the door. That's maybe probably also the reason why it's sometimes not really working on any scenery.
Yeah, it could be. It could either be like it's incorrectly defined in the jetway, that the door position isn't correct there. It could be that it's incorrect in the aircraft itself, that the door isn't positioned correctly. But in general, we just defined like the sliding points that you said, and we tell them how much they can slide and so on. So now you see that it's basically sliding out towards the door. And if you move closer and a little bit to the right, so you can also see that inside there, the door itself opens. The door that was in front of the jetway rolls up.
Ah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
the gate,
yeah.
rolling, I don't know, gate or what is.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I know what you
basically,
mean. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that door is then connected to the head of the
Ah,
jetway,
here it
and then
is.
when you get closer, and the hood starts to extend, the door is also told to yeah, basically roll up like it did here. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So those are custom jetways
Mm-hmm.
you built.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool. I mean, look here. There's a phone. There's the
yeah.
jetway operating stand. Nice. I like. So, I mean, if probably everybody knows when they read, okay, Joe is doing a scenery, that will be a crazy scenery, and in positive ways, of course. So, yeah, I mean, it is crazy if you compare it to others. Yeah. So there are big names in the market, yeah,
Mm.
and. So I can say only from my side, if I know that the scenery from you is coming, then I'm pretty safe buying it because I will be happy at the end. Yeah, that's what the people are expecting, probably a little bit. Also, that's a kind of pressure maybe for you. But I mean, we answered already the question. What was the main focus to making Oslo so detailed? We said the atmosphere, etc. So maybe when we want to see some atmosphere, we can go into the terminal. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And you can guide us through there.
Yeah, yeah. So like, it's also good, like you see, yeah, that you have some sort of movement going on, right? It's
Yeah.
not that you necessarily need to sit in the cockpit and look inside. When you have some sort of movement, it adds to the realism, right? Whenever you're sitting there doing the pre-flights, so I think that's fairly important.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you said to me as we talked yesterday in preparation for this video today. You said the main point for you is because I asked you, why so many details? Is this necessary? And you said to me, yeah, it is, because if you're sitting in the cockpit and that's what I like the most, that this is your main approach, or let's say one of your main approaches, to say, okay, I'm sitting now in the cockpit, I'm doing my flight preparation. That's what this product is made for people who are flying here with Jet Airlines, not for people who are, maybe there are some who are like to go through the terminal, but and the main focus is to see that what a real crew would see.
Yeah.
And that's a cool approach.
Yeah, and it adds to like the feel of being there, that there's like some sort of life at the airport.
And then I was just enjoying the atmosphere, the feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it sounds crazy, but I felt like I'm flying now in real from Oslo. Yeah. So I mean, it's only a, let's say, Easter egg. But why?
It's a gimmick.
Explain.
Why?
Or gimmick.
So previously you asked what like the hardest like part of making the scenery was. For me, that was getting used to like the sound engine that they use in MSFS. It's WIS, it's called. So it's its own software you need to learn. So whenever I figured, hey, let's just add this just for fun. It was like it's an hour of work. So it's just it's not something that's slowing down like development. So it's mostly for the fun of it. And now and then when you start talking about realism, right? I flew from Oslo like last week, and they've actually removed the piano now. So if you wanted to be like super realistic, you would have to delete it, right? But hopefully it's just in the shop being tuned or something. Let's say that, and we'll keep it like it is. I feel, yeah.
Okay, I mean, okay, that's a problem. Probably every scenery developer and you as well has is if there's any. I mean, especially the terminal is changing a lot. Yeah, any airport.
Yeah.
And so you can't keep track on all of these, let's say, changes.
And it's also like, would it make the scenery better if you delete the piano? No, it's like so.
For me, not. For me, it's now 100%. If I'm flying the next time in the flight simulator to Oslo or from Oslo, I have to go into the terminal and check the piano guide. That's for me now. I mean, it's not the. It's not the. It is maybe one of the unique selling points, but it's not the thing why you buy a scenery, But it's nice to have, and I like it. Is there any kind of more gimmicks in the scenery? Let's say hidden somewhere.
There are like there was a lot of requests during the beta about like various flight information on the screens at the various jetways or gates, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a UFO, but I don't think anyone has found it yet.
Oh, okay. So do you want to keep it as a secret, or
Maybe we
do we
should.
have to go? Yeah, we should.
We can. We
We
can.
can make it easy if you guys short giveaway here. So if you guys, I'm working for Aerosoft, so I can do that. Probably not,
Right.
but I will do it anyways. So
We'll
if you
find a
guys,
way.
yeah, if you are watching this video now and you're saying, okay, I know what a UFO is, just write it in a kind of explanation, let's say, where to guide me to go to the point where the UFO is. And if it is the right guide, or let's say the right explanation where to find the UFO, you will get a free copy. And if there is more than one right answer, we will just make a raffle, and then just one of the guys who was right gets one free copy of Oslo, which makes absolutely no sense. I just remember because
maybe
they
a
already
copy
have
of
Oslo.
something else if they have also.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
We'll figure something
Frankfurt.
out.
Yeah. Okay. So you get some product. Maybe Frankfurt. We can talk about it also a little bit later. But keep for the moment. And also, so you will get a free copy, for example, of Frankfurt or any other scenery. We will talk about that later, or I will write it down in the description, so they will read all the infos about the spontaneous giveaway right now. So we are looking for the UFO. Okay. Are you happy with the result, or do you still see parts where you would like to improve? Is there a certain point in the development where you say, okay, this is it, I'm happy now? Or do you still think, okay, I could do this, or I could change this, or could improve this, for example?
I think it's both, right? There, for sure, there's like a point where you just have to say, okay, this is it. This is enough, right? But I still see areas that I could improve. If I were to do the scenery again, I would do probably pretty much everything in a different way. Most likely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, not everything, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
you learn from like the whole process, right? And there's like continuous learning. But I'm happy with it, yeah, of course. But I do, when I look at it, I see mainly the stuff that I would want to do better. But that's something that I'll bring with me to the next project I'm working on, and so that's just gonna keep going. That's the same when I look at projects I've done previously as well. There's always something that could be improved and could be better. Yeah.
I mean, that's many people who are in the, let's say, creative industry would probably share your thoughts, because you are never happy with maybe the wrong word, or it's a hard word, but you're never feel finished. So
you
have
should
to
be happy with it, but you being able to see what could be improved, be better, isn't really a negative thing, as long as it's not dragging you down or something, right? So yeah.
Okay, so as we're talking about, let's say, things maybe to add, to fix, or whatever, let's see a little bit in the future. Is there any kind of updates you are planning to do, let's say, to improve things, to change things?
Well, there are plans for sort of like a feature update. That one it's not going to mainly focus on the airport, but I don't want to go into too much what it is.
Okay.
And it's something that's going to be coming after Frankfurt down the line. But of course, if there's like any changes to like like you said, airports always change, especially like the layout for like the taxiway stands and all that nonsense, right? So if there's changes to that, that's something that will be fixed or corrected in an update, right? But yeah.
Okay. So to wrap up a little bit here, and I have two more questions to you. Is there any, let's say, special place where do I look at what time to see Oslo at its best? So is there any particular view where you say, okay, you have to go there, set the timing on this and this time, and that's it, where you can see Oslo from the most beautiful side or best side?
Yeah, like in general, I'm fairly happy with like the night lighting of the airport. We having like the ability now to use a lot of dynamic lights without it affecting performance too much. It allows us to create a fairly realistic looking airport. So yeah, that's probably my favorite, like Oslo during nighttime, and maybe like a little bit of snow, being Norway and all that. But
Uh, that's that's of course snow. It will add snow, everything for you.
yeah, thank you.
So
There we go. Ah, it's like being there. Perfect.
okay. I mean, snow and Norway.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
That's like
goes hand in hand. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's looking really good. If you see behind there the terminal, it's not too bright. Or here
Yeah,
now in
yeah.
the details on the lower left, it's not too bright. It's not too dark.
Nice mood, I think, flying there at nighttime. Yeah.
To end this short dev interview in the dark, maybe I will switch it back today to see a little bit more. But the night lighting itself is really good. Maybe one question I have, seeing, okay, now we had our main focus on the terminal, which makes, of course, sense because, it is, the snow is pretty bad now. Of course, because,
covered,
of course, because it's important, But if I see the other buildings around and here the little satellite terminal, are there other buildings who are also so detailed, or is it only the terminal, let's say, who's very detailed?
Yeah, no, I want to try keep it fairly, equal and detailed. I really like if you turn around, you have the military area behind you.
Yeah.
This area I like quite a lot. Those buildings over there.
Just straightforward.
Straightforward there, yeah. So you have you have some static aircraft parked outside as well. And that's also I guess a discussion in the flight sim scene if you want to have static aircraft or not. But,
I mean, yeah.
I feel that it makes sense in areas like this where there isn't really going to be any sort of movement with AI traffic, but having them outside of the terminal, I'm not a big fan of blocking gates and stuff like that with it. But
yeah, that's it's GAT as well, I think, what I see here, right? It looks like okay. I mean, I'm happy for this. I mean, there will be always the discussion, static yes or no, I mean, if you are flying with AI only, let's say air traffic, then okay, the AI traffic will sort the parking places around the static aircraft because that's defined.
Of course, you don't want to have like a parking position where you have a static because
it is.
You get double.
Yeah, and the same, but the problem starts if you're, for example, flying online. Not everybody does, but the guys who are doing it, like myself as well, then you have the problem, that your parking position is maybe blocked because of a static aircraft. But what I liked also is at the maintenance hangar, I will just speed up here a little bit. There's also a Dreamliner in the hangar as a static, and it looks cool because the tail is
sticking out.
Sticking out, there you can see it.
It almost looks like a bug, right? With the aircraft sticking out.
Or looks like an pilot on VATSIM connected at the wrong position or has different scenery. But if you look inside, it is also then it explains why it is like it is.
And like the cool thing there is outside of the hangar you have a rectangle that's a trigger area. So whenever you taxi your aircraft there, the doors are gonna open on the right side of the static.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so you're able to park your aircraft in there as well if you want. The same goes with the Norwegian hangar on the behind it there. Those
to the
doors
right
also open when you So whenever you taxi onto those aprons, the doors will open.
Okay. I will, anyways. There will be some flights, live streams here on the Aerosoft Twitch channel. I can recommend you right now. Then I will check this. I will try the animations and I'll fly around. And if you guys are interested in, you can join me then, and then we can try to find maybe together the UFO if nobody finds it. Let's see. So one last question for me, Jo. Frankfurt, how it's going?
It's Frankfurt is it's a large team working on it. It's not just me, so it's going well. Personally, right now I'm working on the lighting for the taxiways, sorting all that stuff out. But it's progressing nicely. But I'm sure we'll do like there will be like a video of covering that one in more detail as well.
Yeah, of course.
Further
Yeah.
down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I can imagine, I mean, we talked already about it, is to make a, let's say, longer, maybe in-depth development view, or to show the scenery before the release, some days before the release, and to see all the details you made in Frankfurt, because we have seen already some screenshots on the Aerosoft social media channels, and there will be, of course, more coming when we are closing to the release. But having you and showing you, or maybe some guys out of the team at Frankfurt as well, and go through the scenery, I would think that would be a cool experience for the viewers outside there. So thank you, Jo, for showing me a little bit quick and dirty, let's say, around here at the airport. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All right, that has been the development interview so far with Jo Erlend. I hope you enjoyed it. Look around or find the UFO, and if you find it, just write it down here in the description to get a free copy of, let's say, Frankfurt. I think that's the best, because that's what you're expecting, guys. And if you're right, you get it. If there is more than one right answer, we will just choose one of the right answers, and then we will have one winner. So do it, and in the same time, or in the same way, I would like to invite you here right now to our Discord channel, where you find the link down below in the description. And don't forget, subscribe, like, thumbs up. Thank you for watching and having you around. See you in the next one. Bye bye.